Hello, boys and girls. How are we doing? Have we all had a nice weekend? Anything interesting happened? Anything that I've missed? Anything I should be up to speed with? The chat's a little small next to me there, isn't it? How do I... Here's me trying to be clever and make it so you can see the chat on the screen. That just looks rubbish, doesn't it? But then my other screen is rubbish. Like, this screen is rubbish because you can only see a little bit of me. You won't be able to see the tears in my eyes on this one. So maybe, I don't know. The chat is small there. How do these young people do it? I don't understand. It's all very complicated. Hi, how are we doing? Keep it on full screen. It's fine. Yeah, people on phones won't be able to see. That's fine. Boys and girls. Boys and girls. What a couple of days it has been. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even really know why I'm streaming, other than the fact that I am just very distracted, as you can probably imagine, by what's going on. I've spent the afternoon watching other people streaming and talking about me. And I figured I may as well go and have my say. Let the world know my side of things. If you're here expecting me to start mudslinging and name calling or anything like that, you're not going to get that from me. That's not how I roll. But I guess I probably do just need to take people through what's gone on and my version of it and my thoughts on it. And then we can just draw a line under it for anyone who's not got Twitter, because I know I did do this on Twitter earlier, but I know not everybody's going to read a 15-part thread or whatever it was. So I figured let's do it live on Twitch, and then we can all agree to never talk about it again. And I think that's probably the way forward. So for those of you who aren't aware of what's going on, to be fair, if you're not aware of what's gone on, this is going to be a really boring stream. You probably just go about your evening. There's not a lot here for you if you're not already invested in everything that's gone on in Football Manager and in the league over the course of the weekend. But obviously, if you are aware of what's gone on, you will have heard my name be slung around all over the place. And yeah, I figured I'd just talk you through what's happened. So let's start with the super short version of events. The super short version of events is a silly little disagreement has been blown massively out of proportion. And as a result, lots of people are upset about it. And I kind of wish that hadn't happened. So that's the super short version. And then we go to the slightly longer version, I guess, which is something happened in the last league stream last week that anyone who was watching it live is aware of. And the fallout for that has been intense. It's been bigger. It's been a bigger fallout than I was expecting it to be. And lots of things, and somehow, and I said I'm going to try and take you through my version kind of chronologically, but somehow we've gone from where we were on the last stream, which wasn't a great place, but we've gone from there to I'm a racist. And I'm going to attempt to bridge the gap between the two and work out how we got there. And then I'll field some questions and we'll see how we get on. So my watch is reminding me that to take my medication. Don't worry, watch. I have taken my medication. I wouldn't have done this without taking my medication first. So we go right back to the beginning and I'll take you through everything that has happened from my side of what's happened. I'm not going to be showing you screenshots of things. I'm not going to be leaking private chats. I'm not going to be leaking private DMs because I don't think that's the right thing to do. So I know there's going to be some people who are going to question the validity of some of the things I'm going to say anyway. It's up to you whether or not you believe me or trust me or not. I don't really care. If you don't like it, the best thing you can do is tell me all about that in the chat, because then the mods can deal with you. If you're not willing to even hear out my side of things before going cuckoo bananas. But yeah, if you're not aware, the league is a Football Manager tournament. Is it a tournament? See, I didn't think it was a tournament. Even that might be where this has all started to go wrong. Because to me, the league was a piece, or still is, it still exists. The league is a piece of collaborative content where 20 creators have come together to make something awesome collaboratively. And I don't quite know where it became a win at all costs competitive thing, because that's something we've never really had in Football Manager before. Even going back to the Streamer Showdowns, they were always entertainment and content first. And I guess I naively went into this thinking it would be more of the same, because the only kind of PvP Football Manager I've ever done has been collaborative, content-led, about making a good piece of entertainment first and foremost. So that's to give you the background. That's how I was going into this whole tournament. And I hold my hands up. There are a number of people in the league who, me as a 43-year-old man who doesn't follow EAFC and doesn't really follow real football, there are a number of the creators in the league who I'd never heard of going in, and I didn't do any research on them. I just kind of, and this is not meant to be a slight on Zealand, trusted Zealand's judgment. I've obviously known Zealand a long time, trusted his judgment that he wouldn't set me up for anything that I wouldn't want to be a part of. And to clarify, I don't think he did, but that was my thinking behind just kind of taking the list on face value. Because if we do go all the way back to the Streamer Showdown, season 1 of the Streamer Showdown all those years ago, there was this guy called Zealand that I'd never heard of who was brought in, and I didn't do any research on him either. I just trusted Ben and Matt's judgment at the time, and Foxy, who was running it at the time, trusted their judgment, and they were right. Zealand's all right, isn't he? And so I'm not blaming Zealand for what's happened at all. I want to be very careful how I choose my words, because I don't want to feel like I am like slinging blame around. I fully accept that a large part of certainly where this all started was my fault. And I've already apologized to the people concerned, and I'll get to my public apology in a little bit. But yeah, where was I? I've derailed myself already. This is why so many of my videos are on auto cue these days, folks. I lose my trail of thought. But yeah, I went into what I thought was a piece of collaborative content designed for entertainment, and going into it in that attitude, with that frame of mind, it did not occur to me, and you live and you learn, it did not occur to me to clarify before the stream that obviously no one's going to draft Mason Greenwood, right? It wasn't something that I thought to say, because I've been involved in a lot of collaborative content since all of that happened, however many years ago it was. And it's never happened before. No one's ever drafted him before. And it just didn't occur to me that it would happen now. And I didn't even know it had happened at the time. I didn't even become aware of it until I was watching back Zealand's stream, or Zealand's video where he was kind of announcing the teams a few days before. So there was a little bit of a gap between the stream happening and me even realizing it had happened, which is why I didn't raise it immediately. But as soon as I did realize it had happened, I contacted Zealand. And I know there's been opinions voiced by some people saying, why didn't you contact the person concerned? Because I've never met them, I've never spoken to them, and I don't have any way of contacting them. I don't have their phone number. I don't know if anyone's ever been on a creator Discord, but it's very rare. And I'll live with you, I didn't check, but I tried to send Plates a DM on Discord like 2 weeks ago and couldn't, because we're not friends on Discord. And it's not because we don't get on or anything. It's just we've always just been in Discord servers together. So we've never taken it to the next step and made it official. And because I'm not friends with him, I can't DM him. So I rightly or wrongly assumed, and maybe I was wrong, can't test it now, but I assumed that because I'm not friends with Kurt, I couldn't DM Kurt. Maybe I could, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I should have checked. Again, lots of things. There's a lot of learning points to have come off the back of this. But I don't know Kurt. I've never spoken to Kurt. I've still never spoken to Kurt. I do know Zealand. I've met Zealand many times. I get on well with Zealand most of the time. So, and Zealand is the organizer of the whole thing. So I DM'd Zealand and said, words to the effect of, it's been brought to my attention that someone, and I didn't know who, because like I say, at this point, all of the EAFC lot, they're all kind of the same guy at the moment. I'm not yet differentiating between them because I don't know who any of them are. So I didn't even remember the name of the guy who'd done it. But it was like, it's been brought to my attention that somebody has drafted Mason Greenwood. I don't want any part of that. So I'm just letting you know that when my match against them comes up, I'm just going to quietly disconnect. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. Just wanted to let you know. And Zealand's response, I don't want to paraphrase. I don't want to read like verbatim what he said, but at the same time, I don't want to accidentally kind of misquote him. So I'm going to read what he actually said, and then I'm going to paraphrase it. Where are we? Sorry, boys and girls, I could have had this prepared. He was having breakfast in January. So I've gone back too far. Yeah, so I said, it's been brought to my attention, someone's drafted Mason Greenwood. I don't want to be any part of that, so I won't be playing that match. I don't need to make a big deal of it. I'll just quietly disconnect from that match. And Zealand's response was words to the effect of, as far as he knew, he'd drafted him by mistake, and he'd ask him not to use him against me. My response, and I don't mind directly quoting myself, my response was, okay, cheers. If he's not in the match squad for my match, then I'm good. And Zealand's response was, yeah, that's fine. We'll make sure that happens. So to me, and again, you live and you learn, to me, with my autistic brain, my binary brain, at that point, the issue has been raised. The issue has been dealt with. I've raised my concerns with Zealand. I've given him a potential option. I've offered to just not play that match. He said, no, don't worry about that. We'll just make sure that the player's not used. It's not going to be an issue. We're fine. And to me, at that point, the issue is dealt with and I've moved on and we're all good. I ended up playing Kurt in one of my first matches. He didn't use him. It was fine. He didn't join the voice chat either. I've sat there in Channel 9, apart from one occasion when I had to leave Channel 9, but I've been sat there in Channel 9 on the Discord throughout this process. Anyone who's wanted to be in a voice chat with me has had the option. So I was there. We could have had a conversation then, but he chose not to join the voice chat, which fair enough. I'm not going to force anyone to be in a voice chat with me. But that explains why we still haven't ever spoken to each other. But he didn't use him in that first week, which, again, to me, kind of solidifies that he's taken on board what he's been asked not to do and he's not done it. That feels like it's like further validation of what I've asked for. And we can get into the nitty gritty of whether or not I was right or wrong to ask in a little bit, because I've done a lot of thinking about it and a lot of people have given me their thoughts, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. We're doing the chronology at the moment. But yeah, I came out of that first week, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't use him against me. We're all good. We have no problem. It's all fine. We didn't come up against each other in week 2. So again, it's all good. We're all fine. And week 3, we played each other again, and he's not there in the starting 11 when we see that at the start of the thing. So again, we're fine. We have no problem. And then like 70 minutes into the match, all of a sudden, he brings him on as a substitute. Someone in my chat says, Kev, are you aware? Or something along the lines of, I thought he wasn't going to use that guy. And I'm like, what? And realised what he'd done, at which point I just did what I'd originally told Zealand I was going to do. In fact, I didn't even go so far as to what I originally told Zealand I was going to do, because the original agreement was if he used him, I'd disconnect. I didn't. I let the game play out, conscious of the fact that I was losing. And I've taken a lot of heat about, oh, it's only an issue when you were losing. Well, that's the only time he used him. But it did cross my mind at the time that if I disconnect now while I'm losing, it's going to make it look like I've only done it because I'm losing. So I didn't disconnect. I just went to my BRB screen and muted my microphone and asked Chris, my editor, Topher, asked him not to include any of that match in the video. And I just wanted to scrub the fact that it happened from existence. I didn't make a big deal of it, or tried not to make a big deal of it. And again, I think Jack probably summed up. I watched Jack's stream earlier. He did raise the point that probably made it worse doing the whole BRB thing. And yeah, fair enough, maybe it did. I don't know what I'd do differently if it happened again, because part of the reason I went to my BRB screen is because I was flabbergasted and didn't know how to respond. Because to me, we had this binary cast iron agreement that, you know, are you going to do the thing? No, I'm not going to do the thing. Cool. And then the thing is done, and I need a minute to process that, because I'm not prepared for that. I took the original agreement in good faith. So part of the reason I've gone to my BRB screen is to avoid sitting there looking sad, not saying anything and not really knowing what to do. But also, you know, I know the video's not going to make it in. I know that match isn't making it into my video anymore because I don't want any part of that on my channel. And yeah, so I did that. Somebody, some little rascal, maybe multiple little rascals, told him about it, I guess, told him that I wasn't happy, which I wasn't happy. I'm not going to hide the fact that I wasn't happy. Whether I'm right or wrong to be happy or not happy, we'll I guess, again, we'll get to that. But I wasn't happy. Didn't throw any abuse around, would probably raise that issue. My way of displaying my displeasure was withdrawing myself from the situation, which is my natural instinct. But someone told, or a few people, whoever, he found out I wasn't happy, and his immediate response is that I could suck his balls, which I didn't know at the time. I got sent a clip the next morning. So we'll get to that again in a little bit. But we then kind of moved on from it from the stream, didn't talk about it again, didn't want it to feature in my video, so didn't want to keep talking about it. I gave the chat instructions. We're not going to reference what's just happened. We're just going to move on from it. I don't want any part of that, and I don't want to draw attention to it by making it a big deal. That went well. Straight after the stream ended, I did message Zealand again, the organizer, the only person I've got a direct DM contact with, to say, I don't think this is on. We had an agreement. I've got it here in this same DM conversation. We had an agreement that he wasn't going to do that, and he's done that. Can you have a word, please? And he said he'd go and talk to him and sort him. And that was like 8:15 on the night that it happened, UK time. And then it got to like lunchtime the next day. And by now I've been sent the clip. So I'm pretty unhappy that I've been sent the clip, because to me, again, looking at it entirely from my point of view, and I am going to try in a little bit to look at it from both sides, but looking at it from my point of view, I had an agreement. The agreement has been broken. I've not made a huge fuss about it, but clearly maybe not handled it the best way I possibly could, but still don't really know how I could or should have handled it. Certainly wasn't just going to ignore it, because I still think I still think deep down, I mean, it's still someone I don't want on my channel. I don't want to be associated with him. I've got 2 daughters. He's scum. I don't want him, and I know it's just a digital version of him, but I don't want him in my videos. I don't want him on my streams. So if your beef with me is that you're a big Mason Greenwood fan, do one. Seriously, you're not wanted here. But yeah, so I've now seen this clip of him inviting me to suck his balls multiple times. And I still haven't heard back from Zealand. And this is where I made my big mistake that I have already apologized to everybody on the Discord. And I'll apologize here publicly. And I'll apologize to Kurt. It was the wrong way to do it. I am sorry for doing it on the public forum of the Discord. And the reason I do the air quotes there is to explain why I did it the way that I did it. Because to me, the Discord that only had the 20 people involved in the content on it, to me, that was private. And it's since been made very clear to me by a lot of other people involved that no one else there considered it private, and they considered that public domain. And obviously it's been shared by several people as well. And I guess what's said in a private Discord isn't a private conversation. And you live and you learn, I guess. I considered that to be raising it privately. And from my side of things, the only way I could raise it privately, because again, I'm not friends with him. I don't have a way of contacting him directly and individually. But I should have been more patient. I should have waited and let Zealand deal with it. I'd already reached out to Zealand the night before. I should have been more patient. I should have let Zealand deal with it. I could have followed up to Zealand with so what is going on, rather than posting it publicly. But in all honesty, there was a lot of people whinging about set pieces on the Discord. And I was just reading that thinking, are these lot seriously whinging about set pieces and pausing when something, to my mind, far more significant has happened? I was like, you know, I can't remember exactly how I phrased it. You'd have seen the thing, but it was something on the lines, if we were all having a little bit of a moan, I'll throw my moan in here as well. I don't appreciate somebody using a player they'd agreed not to use, and then when they're called out for it, reacting like this. And I posted a link to the clip where he told me to suck his balls. And I genuinely thought, up until this point, that Kurt was playing a character on his stream. The same way you've seen me do over the years, the same way you've seen everybody do in the Streamer Showdown. And I genuinely thought that posting it there, Kurt would see it and just be like, yeah, sorry, my bad. I went a little bit far. I forgot that I'd agreed not to use him, because I've since found out apparently he forgot. Fair enough if you forgot. If you'd have just said, yeah, sorry, I forgot that I'd agreed not to do that. Won't happen again. And it would have been dealt with there. And I that was the outcome I was expecting. I was expecting a quick little apology from a human. And that's not what I got. Obviously, you've seen what I got. That was where I think the response was with the knee slide comment. And it all kind of went off on one from there, because obviously he escalated it massively. I then responded with the same energy, and it kind of all just descended into a little bit of silliness from there that lasted maybe 20 minutes of silliness. 4 or 5 messages from him, 4 or 5 messages from me, a few other people having their say as well. And as far as I was concerned, it ended then. Zealand eventually wakes up, because obviously he's on US time, not Europe time. So this is all happening at like lunchtime, UK time. So Zealand's still in bed. Zealand arrives, puts a stop to it. And I didn't hear anything else for like 2 full days. And thought it was dealt with, thought it was over. And then all of a sudden, the private Discord is being leaked on a stream. Everyone's read it. It's all been sent to Kurt again, even though he's already seen it. So now he's streaming about it. And if you've not seen the video, I'm not going to repeat the things that were said in the video or the stream I think there's been a couple of streams and a few videos and various clips where he's said some awful things, like genuinely awful and unfounded things. And left Zealand with no choice but to remove him from the competition as a result. He wasn't removed for playing Mason Greenwood. He was removed for the way he acted afterwards. So, yeah, and obviously you've all seen it explode from there. And as a result, I've now had the last 2 days of having my YouTube comments, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Discord absolutely bombarded by his little minions. I've spent 2 days just blocking and deleting on multiple platforms. Anna woke me up at 4 a.m. this morning because she'd woken up to go to the toilet and checked her phone. She woke me up at 4 a.m. to say, there's a load more on here you need to delete. So I'm sat there at 4 a.m. having to delete a load of this absolutely hideous, damaging stuff. Yeah, it's just been rubbish. And I put out the little thread of tweets this morning where, like I say, I hold my hands up. I think I've said it in this stream. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done it on the public Discord. I now know how other people view these supposedly private Discords. In the back of I'm going to have some things to work through, and I'm definitely going to pick the brains of some of my fellow creators over the next few days just to really clarify the rules of this for myself, because I've had some very, very, very private conversations on Discord servers similar to that one in the past. So I'm not sure I understand the rules of when something is private and when something is not. I think the issue here is that half the people there were effectively strangers, so that stops it being private. I think that's the issue. So they don't know me, I don't know them, and I don't really know. But I know in future not to call somebody out in front of a group of people, no matter how big or small the group of people is, I guess. So yeah, I've made a mistake there. Do I deserve the reaction I got? Of course not. Of course not. The reaction has been so out of proportion with the original action. And I'm not going to descend to that level, and I'm not going to start name calling. And, some of it's just mad. Some of the stuff that we've been sent. But yeah. That's pretty much where I am. One thing that obviously Kurt did raise during his video, and I can see Flute has pinned it to the chat here. One of the things Kurt did point out is that I've got Lucas Hernandez in my team, so I'm a hypocrite. I didn't know Lucas Hernandez had done anything wrong. But let me model some adult behavior for you. Let's say we've got, when I'm talking to Kev now. Hey Kev, you've got Lucas Hernandez you've drafted Lucas Hernandez in your squad for the league. He's pretty problematic. Did you know he'd done X, Y, Z? No, I didn't. Thanks for pointing that out to me. Obviously, I won't use him now. It's that easy, boys and girls. Let's try another one. Oh, there's loads of mugs on the desk. There's like 8 mugs on the desk. Let's try another one. Hi, fellow content creator. Something you've done made me feel uncomfortable. I'd prefer you didn't do it again. I'm sorry. Again. So that's where I am with it. I didn't think I'd be doing roleplay. But like I say, I've apologized to everyone who's still on the Discord for airing my dirty laundry in public. That doesn't mean, as much as I admit I'm in the wrong for that part of it, I also think it was wrong that it was shared publicly. And I obviously don't agree at all with the reaction to it being shared. I don't apologize for my original concerns. I still don't want to feature that guy on my channel. And I don't think that's the most absurd take that anyone's ever had. And I think that is everybody's right as a creator, as a person, to decide where you draw your line in the sand about the things that you're comfortable with and not comfortable with. And nobody has the right to dictate to somebody else what they should and shouldn't be comfortable with. And if I'd have just kind of surprise attacked Kurt with this as he makes the substitution and it's the first he'd ever heard of it, then obviously I'm completely in the wrong then. The fact is, he's known about this for 3 weeks. He's known I wasn't comfortable with that player being used. And he used him anyway. Whether he forgot or not, he used him anyway. If he did it maliciously, if he just forgot, could have just held his hands up. Yeah. I don't really know what more there is to say. Mods, what are the highlights of the questions from the chat? Because the chat's moving too fast for me to pull stuff out of it. But if we've got some recurring questions, I don't mind answering questions, even the really difficult ones. So if we've got really difficult questions, I'm happy to answer. What's the capital of Australia? Oh, it's not one of the obvious ones, is it? Oh God, what's it called? Canberra or something like that, isn't it? Is that how it's pronounced? I don't actually know. What am I drinking? This is just my after dinner coffee. They're too busy banning minions. Bless them. Thank you very much, mods. I'll double your pay for tonight. Is the league dead or will it continue? It's continuing. Yeah. As far as the league is concerned, and I think I don't want to speak for Zealand, but as far as I'm aware, last time I saw it, Kurt had been removed and we were carrying on. I'm certainly happy to carry on. Have I thought of suing for defamation? I just don't see what that would achieve. Have we had any of the... have we got any of the comments? No idea. Yeah, I don't know who's replacing him. It's not continuing. It's not happening this week. It wasn't happening this week anyway, because there's a number of people not available. So it wasn't happening today, this week, regardless. As far as I'm aware, it's back next week. I don't know what day. Thank you very much for the subs that are coming in, by the way. That's very much appreciated. Right, what's Diz saying? He might have forgotten about the player, that's fine, but his reaction to you just putting a BRB screen is crazy and not something we're accustomed to in FM. Always appreciate you, Kev. Hope you're doing okay. Thank you, Diz. Very nice of you to say. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Anna, bless her, had a tough couple of days. She doesn't deserve to have to witness all of this. Would you be fine with people just using who they want, but then you decide who gets shown on the channel? Right, let's get to the nitty-gritty of this. I think I've had enough people tell... Sugar. I've got a lot of cups on my desk. It's been a long few days. Can you hear me when I'm back here? I have had enough people tell me over the last 2 days that I overreacted. Sheepdog telling me to stop paying attention to it all. Anna's been talking to Sheepdog about me. They're worried about me, bless them. I've had enough people tell me I overreacted to, I guess, accept that it's just how it's going to be. I guess if people want to use him, people are going to use him. I'm still not massively comfortable with it, but I guess like the consensus rules in situations like that. I don't want to cut off my nose to spite my face. I would prefer, and I don't think it's an unreasonable thing to say, I would prefer not to have that name ever mentioned again in any of my content ever for as long as I live. I just don't think that's an unreasonable thing for me to hope for. But maybe I'm just a little bit sensitive to the issue because I've got 2 daughters. And like everybody else here, I've heard the tapes, you know. So to me, there isn't a like forgive, forget, move on, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, no. As far as I'm concerned, forevermore, he's not going to be on my YouTube channel. He's not going to be in my content. And I don't know. I guess the only way, I guess people just have to be able to use who they want, and I just have to eat it, I guess. I don't know. But must emphasize this point. That's not why he was thrown out of the league. He wasn't thrown out of the league for using Mason Greenwood. You've seen the reactions. How... Right, hold on. There's one. Calling someone homophobic for saying boyfriend is so low. I disagree. I think that is homophobic, and I stand by that. Because he wasn't confused. He didn't think Luke was actually my boyfriend. He was using it as a way to belittle Luke and using the intention, the clear intention behind calling Luke my boyfriend or me Luke's boyfriend, or whichever way around it was used. The clear intention there is as a slur to belittle us. Yeah, I absolutely stand by that. Your stance is completely justified. I'm going to try not to read out anything that's too pro, Kev. There's a difference using that sort of language as a joke or to take the P. So that's fair to call it homophobic, at least. Yeah, I think I stand by it. I stand by that part of it. Nay, derogatory. That's the word I was looking for. He said boyfriend in a derogatory way. Yeah, it was absolutely intended to be homophobic. What's this? You know what? The racism thing, I don't even understand. I've not watched the videos. I've only watched the reactions from my people because I don't want to upset myself, really. I don't really want to. I feel like as a content creator for a long time, I do have quite a thick skin. But even in that context, I don't want to put myself through 30 minutes of someone abusing me. I'm not that much of a masochist. So I don't actually know where the calling us racists thing came from. I watched a little bit of Robbo's stream earlier, and I saw a bit where he basically put my face up on screen and then got close enough to his camera to lick it and said, "You're racist." It's like, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't really understand. There was a 10-second clip out of context from Luke. So, I mean, and this is not. Let me get my and but in first. I'm not throwing Luke under the bus here, but even if Luke was a massive racist, which I know he's not because I know Luke, but even if he was, that doesn't make me one. So yeah, I don't really know where that came from. But yeah, I think the Football Manager community in general has been very sheltered for a very long time. It reminds me of when I was working at the World Cup last year. And one of the pieces of feedback that we got as a group, so broadcasters and competitors combined, in like the closing speeches after everything went off air, it was commented by a few people how it was the most good-natured, politest esports event they'd ever been a part of. Because there was none of this. We never had any of this in the Streamer Showdown. We've never had any of this in anything we've ever done, really. It's just never really happened. And maybe this kind of banter is normal in other... Yeah, Ben, yeah, absolutely, you take the credit for that. The first thing I did when all this kicked off was told Ben to bring back the Showdown so I could play in that instead. I don't remember what I was saying now. Been distracted by the Dr. Benji being in my chat. Yeah, maybe this is... I don't consider myself a gamer. I'm a Football Manager player. I don't follow any other gaming content. I don't follow esports. It might be that this kind of stuff is the done thing and is just like water off a duck's back to other creators. But to me, it was a whole new world having someone talk about me that way. So yeah, it was very odd. None of this would have happened if Zealand hadn't asked for better graphics. I mean, yeah, ultimately we do all have to blame Zealand. It does all come back to him. Wouldn't that mean you have to let Matt come out of the Lego studio? Look, Matt's busy. You know, Matt knows what he's doing. How am I associated with FM and aren't a football fan? Someone asked me that on Twitter. I mean, I am a football fan. I was a Peterborough season ticket holder for like 25 years. I watched just about every Peterborough and Arsenal game last season. But that's all I watch. I don't really have any interest in football that my teams aren't a part of. And I had a long period of time where I didn't even watch as much as that. I kind of forced myself to get back into football, at least to the level of watching the Premier League through watching Arsenal. I forced myself back into it a few years ago because of the amount I was getting mocked and abused for not knowing literally anything about football. So I've kind of made more of an effort to try and know more. But the honest answer is I was massively into football as a kid. If you want to test me on 1990s football trivia, I am your guy. You know, I've got the autism brain. I when I'm into something, I am into it. And I just kind of fell out of love with it in the mid 2000s, basically when Arsenal stopped winning. The Invincible was happening. It's like, well, that's football finished. I don't need to worry about it anymore. But yeah, I just kind of lost interest in football for a long time, but never lost the love for Football Manager. Football Manager always has been, always will be my main special interest. I love Football Manager. I've said a gazillion times before on stream that I would, if I had to choose to one thing doesn't exist anymore, Football Manager or football. I'm 100% keeping Football Manager. I could live without football. Don't think I could live without Football Manager. So that's how. Which I know is going to be so weird and alien to the people who are super duper into football and football culture. That's just not me. Again, I don't really get football banter. When Ben sees me next, he's going to insult me loads to prepare for the future. How is that in any way different from any time we've ever been together in the past? It happens a lot in different gaming spaces, this type of thing, but never happened really in the FM space. Yeah. My views on Inter Milan. I see, this is the thing. I don't have any. Should I have views on Inter Milan? I don't really. Do I care about the Euros and the World Cup? I'll watch England, but I don't watch any of the other matches. And I don't watch the qualifiers. I couldn't tell you. Oh, Inter is the team Kurt supports. Okay, fair enough. See, don't know that. But I couldn't tell you who. I couldn't tell you who should be England's starting 11 right now because I'm not that into it. Yeah, have we got any more questions that are actually on topic? How can I exist without football? Because I've got Lego, and Lego's really cool. I mean, I do, like I say, I watch every posh match. I watch every Arsenal match. I still watched like 100 football matches over the last year. That's still 2 a week on average. That feels like plenty of football. How much football do I need to watch? Most important questions get deleted. Topher, let some of them through. Let me see what people are actually asking. I'm a big boy. What do we think of Tottenham? I'm a family-friendly streamer. I can't tell you what we think of Tottenham. Right, let's brace myself. You know, he's going to make me cry. Most of the questions getting blocked are whataboutism. What do I think of Robin van Persie? See, Robin van Persie is an interesting one because him moving to Man United was one of the things that made me fall out of love with football. Is there anything Kurt can do to come back into the league and get on good terms? Yeah, just say sorry. I mean, and he doesn't even have to do it publicly. Well, I mean, I guess he probably kind of does at this point. Because otherwise it would be like, well, how has that happened? But yeah, if he, and again, I mean, he's got no way of contacting me, just like I've got no way of contacting him. If he came through an intermediary now and reached out and just said, sorry, I'd say, I mean, I've already directly said sorry to him on this stream. I would say it again to his face or over a Discord or whatever it is. I would happily apologize for my part of it. I would expect an apology in return. And then he's welcome back in. I'm not going to hold a grudge. So, yeah, that's how he gets back in. I don't think that's unreasonable. I can make that a part of the video and send it to him. Go for it. Yeah, Ben, you can be ref. That's fine. How do I feel about Wii boxing? I feel like that's another leading question, isn't it? This is where, I mean, I guess part of this is going to be me proving that I genuinely don't know anything about the guy, because I'm not going to know when you're leading me into these traps. I thought there was loads of awful questions that were being blocked. None of them seem to be coming through. Where are these awful questions? What about Sadio? Right. Okay. What about Sadio Mane? I don't know. I don't know what he's supposedly done. If someone wants to enlighten, maybe this isn't the forum for it. But yeah, if If he's done, I mean, okay, I feel like we're on iffy ground here, aren't we? I think I probably need to do a little bit of Googling. Because I don't know. Married an 18-year-old, knew her since she was a teen. Married. See, even you lot as a chat are giving me so many different versions of it. I've had married a kid, married a 16-year-old, married an 18-year-old. I mean, marrying an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old are both legal. I married an 18-year-old way back when. I was 19 at the time. But yeah, I'd need to know more. If it turns out he's a scumbag, then I won't use him. Because, I mean, the thing is, I feel like, and this is where my ignorance of all of this stuff might get me in trouble, so I probably need to tread a little bit carefully here. Topher, get ready to tell me to stop. I feel like the Mason Greenwood situation is worse purely because of how much of a big deal and how much in the public consciousness it was. So that one is front of mind. We've all heard the recordings, and, you know, it's not like he's back in the England setup. It's not like all is forgiven. He's not back at Man United. He's not back in the England team, is he? He's effectively been exiled from the Premier League and the English national team. So I feel like it's not an unreasonable place to take the same stand as Manchester United, the FA, the rest of the Premier League. You know, I'm not alone in not wanting to touch that guy with a barge pole, am I? Yeah, Lucas Hernandez, I have now been made aware of, and I've said the moment I was made aware of, I'm not going to use him. I didn't know. I've also seen a lot of people who know a lot more about football than I do say they also didn't know, because it wasn't made a big deal of in the British media the way Mason Greenwood was. So Mason Greenwood is a high profile one. And what's the, again, what I don't know. What's the issue with Enzo? What did he do? Enzo racism situation. I mean, is he racist? Racist chant towards the French. I don't know. I guess I need to think about it. If it's like, is there videos? Like, is he like openly and provably out there being racist? Yes, well then I don't use him anymore either. It's, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we draw the line with this kind of stuff. All I know, and Robbo put this perfectly on his stream earlier, all I know is what I know. And I knew about Mason Greenwood, and the idea of him being involved in the league made me feel uncomfortable. Is that not okay? Am I not allowed to like feel my own feelings? Am I not allowed to decide what makes me uncomfortable and what doesn't? So, you know, it's not actually the real life person. I mean, Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I get that, but obviously there's an association there, isn't there? I don't want to say that name on my channel. I don't want to draw attention to that person on my channel. And like I said at the start, I need to have a little bit of a think about how I feel about it as an issue overall. Maybe I'm, like I said right at the start of the stream, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe every player is fair game. Let Sports Interactive decide. Then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to take any responsibility. I can just be oblivious. But honestly, and I think this is the key point. I'll make the decision that allows me to look in my daughter's eyes and say, yeah, I'm comfortable with that and I'm happy with the decision I made. And at the moment, as far as the not wanting Mason Greenwood on my channel thing, I could happily and comfortably look them in the eyes and say, yeah, I'm comfortable with the decision I made there. If I were to actually say, you know what, fair game, let him on, I don't know that I could. And I'm more interested in what they think of me than what Kurt's fans think of me. So simple, really. And yeah, it is really important to clarify once again for anybody joining late, Kurt did not get banned from the league for using Mason Greenwood. It was his extraordinary reaction to being called out for it that he got banned for. Rightly so. Wonder if Kev has heard. Hold on. Wonder if Kev has heard from what source he said he would not play said player. Yeah, I've got the DMs with Zealand. I told Zealand that I wasn't comfortable with him being used. Zealand told me he would talk to him and he wouldn't be used. And I also have a DM from Zealand confirming that he agreed. So, are you calling Zealand a liar? Because I trust and believe Zealand. I've got the confirmation right there. He confirmed to Zealand he wouldn't use him. Can't you talk to him directly? How? How? DM him on Twitter. Is he? I mean, yeah, I guess I could DM him on Twitter. Didn't think to at the time. Did Jack use an overpowered corner tactic? Of course he did. He's scum. Discord? We're not friends on Discord. There's no league this week, no. There never was. It's not because of this. And the league's back next week. You need loads of powder pre-stream today. Oh, you used... Oh, yeah, I did use loads of powder pre-stream. Do I need more? Are you telling me I need more powder? I put a load on. I mean, it is hot in here. Kurt knew. He even asked Zealand if he could swap the player in question for another of similar value. Well, there you go then. So he did know. If that's the case, then that confirms that he knew. And I believe he forgot. I'm not suggesting that it was done maliciously at the time. Obviously, it turned that way afterwards. I suspect he probably did just forget. Oh, crumbs. I really need to clear this desk. No, there's not going to be a block party stream tonight. Why is Anna saying come along? Am I supposed to be somewhere? She's telling me to bring the cups down. Yeah, I'll take the cups down when I'm done. What's the other streamers in the league's reaction? I mean, they've been all over Twitch today. Does anyone have party? I don't think so. Because again, it just goes without saying you don't draft him. Surely. You should triple down now, offer to fight him, and I'll be there for it. I can't fight him. I'm nearly 30. How tall is he? No, I'm not going to fight him. I don't do fights. I'm not allowed to fight. I had to retire from competitive sport. Can we get Ben to replace him? I mean, I suspect, boys and girls, I'm not going to be the first person Zealand comes to asking me for suggestions for a replacement. Because I suspect Zealand is a little cross with me. It's just a suspicion. I imagine he kind of wished this didn't happen. You'd be destroyed. This is about honour. But surely if I lose my honour, don't I? It's got more eyes on Football Manager. Yeah, it's all been a WWE style work. We're all faking. We're all playing characters. We've got you all believing this is a shoot. When me and Kurt headline WrestleMania, this is just the start of the build. We worked everybody. Oh, goodness me. I was a little bit worried coming onto this stream. I actually feel a little bit better getting it all off my chest. I feel like I can actually move on from it now because I've sat here for the last 2 days just constantly. This is why Anna's telling me to stop because she's been fully aware of what I've been up to. I've just been refreshing Twitter, blocking. And then once I've blocked everybody, I then go to YouTube and I'm there deleting comments and blocking. And then I head to Discord and throw some bans out, and then I swing around to Instagram, and then when I'm done I loop back round again, and it's just literally been, I've barely slept. It's been rubbish, but I actually think I can move on now. There's honour in fighting, there's no honour. Can I appoint a champion? If I can appoint a champion, then yeah, I'm in. I propose Topher as my champion. Yeah, Topher's going to fight Kurt for me. Sorted. Why were that? What was Zim's upset about? Did I miss something with Zim's? Appoint big Kurt Villa. Oh, I tell you what, Kurt Villakazi has complicated this massively because when I was adding words to my my auto mod on YouTube, obviously I added Mason Greenwood, I added Lucas Hernandez, and I was like, well, I'll add Kurt as well. I can't add Kurt. If I add Kurt to the auto mod, all the comments we've got about Kurt Villakazi are going to go. So I've had to leave that on there. Am I sucking his balls or not? I don't know if it was a genuine offer. I need some clarification, really. Because if that's what it takes to clear the air... I can't take any of this seriously. Genuinely, I think I've reached that point now. This has been incredibly helpful. Oh my word. But yeah, I think we've addressed everything, haven't we? Can I actually get some work done now? Because I've spent the last 2 days not actually making any videos, and I kind of need to make some videos. No, there's not a block party stream tonight. Not just because of this. We don't actually have a chair in that room at the moment, because the chair that was almost broken is now fully broken. So I need to fix the chair. But yeah, I think we're moving on. I think we're done. I should say as well, I'm not going to be talking about this anywhere again. Yeah, you don't need to get involved. It's fine. Yeah, I'm literally wrapping up now. Anna's telling me off. Anna's here, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, you're watching, are you? So you know it's all going fine. I've cheered up. This has been helpful.
You said your piece now.
Yeah, and I'm saying goodbye, and then you came in and crashed my ending. Bye-bye. Bye, Anna. Oh, my word. Shut the door. So I'm not being mean to you. I'm trying to end the stream. Oh, so much for one take, Kev. She's ruined it. No, that isn't even half of them. Yeah, there are loads in here. I've not left the room. Yeah, as I was saying before I was interrupted, I will not be talking about this anywhere from now on. Yeah, this is one of the main ideas of this is I can just refer people here. I'll make the VOD public. I'll just refer people here. In fact, I won't even do that. People can find their own way here. I'll continue to just block and delete anything that I see anywhere. But I'm not going to be doing any more responses anywhere on YouTube, on Twitter. The next stream, when the league is back next week, we are not talking about this. This has been addressed now. So we move on from it. You've heard my side of things. I've apologized for the stuff that I did wrong. I've made it clear the stuff I'm not apologizing about. And yeah, draw your own conclusions. If you still think I'm a wang, then so be it. Most of you thought I was a wang beforehand anyway. Nothing's really changed there. But yeah, I think we are going to wrap things up. Thank you very much for watching, boys and girls. Shall we raid somebody? I don't remember the last time I raided somebody on Twitch, but let's see who we can raid. Imagine if he's on. Right, who are we going to raid? Robbo's live again. Now I'm confused. Because Robbo was live before, then he's been in the chat, and now he's live again. Was he watching me? He's literally watching me. Right, look at this. What's going on here? Oh, hang on. Look, I even had stuff ready. He's watching me. I can't show you. I don't know how my computer works. Matt's set this up in a way I don't understand. He's literally watching me. We'll raid him. He's robbing my viewers from me. Right, well, we'll raid Robbo then. Go and hang out with him. And I'm going to go and actually get some work done. Oh, I'm not logged into my chat. Topher, can you raid Robbo for me? And I might actually start doing some streams again. This has been fun. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. And leave me alone now, for goodness sake. Oh my word. Right, is the raid happening? Can I end the stream? I can. Magic. Thanks for watching, folks. Toodle pip. Bye-bye.